fire up.
It's horrible.
Okay. We'll call the
Yes.
Webster City Council, April 20th City Council meeting to order. Call the roll.
Ashley Allers, Abby Hansen.
Here.
John Hawkins.
Here.
John Marble. Megan McFarland. Here.
Councilman Marvel, can you hear us? Is he present by phone?
Brian said he should be.
I thought I just heard him.
Where's it supposed to be hooked up?
On the
Through the speakers is what Brian said. If we're having trouble, we're going to get him hooked up on this.
I apologize. Do you want to proceed and I can try to contact him or?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're doing pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Hello.
with liberty and justice for all.
No, I can't hear you. So do you guys just want to? I gave Brian my other cell to dial in if you want.
Okay. So you're an I then. We're good. Oh, you can't hear us.
Oh, John.
But now
Yeah,
here's
just
the other side of the
just
building.
have him call me on that number. All right, very good.
We can hear him.
He's loud and clear. He's annoying. Yeah. Any high school students any good at this stuff? Oh, that's not going to help us at all.
Printed the date and then I got to the day, print.
I'm the printer.
You really walk out, and get everything. Not like this is gonna be in this thing, this is gonna be like some IT person. Yeah, by the way, the printer was. And they're like, you should have called.
Hello?
But there's not IT on site. It's really from me. Oh, they come from, the McFarland people come from me. So it's like when I call for like.
We could hear him loud and clear when he spoke. But
I don't think he picked up all the songs.
Which number do you have?
The 832-2782. Or 835, sorry.
Eight 272.
There we go. I'll try again.
What do you think they look so much?
It's kind of hot and stylish. You're sure.
Yeah.
This one peeled off. So this was.
Can we hook this phone?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I didn't see it now, but I did.
I just got you.
we should get you to talk to him.
This is the best.
Keep this coming through the speakers here.
It peeled like 3D.
On my phone.
When you call him, we can hear it.
How do I?
But he said he couldn't hear us.
We could do it in all my services.
Well, I was over that.
Yeah.
As he started talking, I was like, oh, well, we can hear you. But he couldn't hear us. You were talking.
So what are the options we have for connecting somebody? I don't know.
A cell phone possibly. And
Don't I just
put them on speaker.
And then what will you be able to hear the?
He should be able to hear us. We're on speakerphone right here. The question will be whether no one else will hearing, but we will.
We could put down to.
Yeah.
Can he join the Zoom? Brian,
What's that?
can he join the Zoom?
That's what he was joined on.
He was on the Zoom, but
Yeah, we can try it on the computer if you want.
What are you gonna hook on? Yes, fall into this.
just have it for the
It's
speaker.
a comedy, isn't it?
Oh, now we can hear him.
But he can't hear us, I thought.
But he can't. How's he connected to that speaker? Hold on, John, don't say anything.
The speaker's up there.
Okay, so how's this connected to that?
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
Well, everything's through Zoom in the back.
So he's talking and it's picking it up on Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
He can hear you then.
He can hear me, but his voice when he talks is not only coming through the phone, it's coming through the system on me.
Okay.
So
It doesn't matter. Does it?
I don't think it does.
As long as he can hear what we're saying, so he can answer.
I can hear you guys.
Okay,
Very good.
perfect. We're good to go.
Sure, I'm gonna hand you my phone and
Okay.
go from there.
All right. So we'll do petitions, communications and requests. At the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in cases of emergency, the city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter, have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Good evening.
Good evening. I am Curtis Bauer. I am the mayor of Roland, Iowa. I'm running for Iowa House District 55, and I'm here to introduce myself to all of you. I'm the president and CEO of a nonprofit called Reforging Families, where we just advocate on parental rights and the best interest of children. They took me to the Capitol about 5 years ago, and there I started working extensively on property rights, where I gained a lot of experience in the legislative process while there. Being part of the mayor of Roland and part of that experience with property taxes, local government issues, stuff like that, I've gained a lot of experience in lobbying for those things while down there and understanding the ins and outs of the process, especially when it comes to city politics and how a budget is actually run at the local government level. Because I found that at the legislature, they don't have a whole lot of real good grasp on how a budget is actually run. Their budget is they set revenues and they set revenue rates. Well, the problem is, as people pay their taxes, that's how they're paid. For local governments, we establish our budget, then property taxes are levied against the properties, and then those are paid, and that's how it's determined. They don't exactly know quite the ins and outs and the nuances, so that gives me an extra insight on how to really help and assist on how to form good policy around that. I am a retired military member. I retired from the United States Army. And last but not least, I am a husband and father of 6 boys. So if any of you would like to chat afterwards, and anyone from the public, I'll be here afterwards. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? All right, so we'll go on to the consent agenda. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, will be considered on its normal sequence on the agenda. I have A is the minutes of April 6th and the special and regular meetings. And B is the claims and the fund list. C is a report for wastewater, electric and water. D is a report for the police for March. E is a report for the fire for March. And F is a recommended approval for issuance of a beer and liquor licenses by the Iowa Department of Commerce. For the following, approve Class C retail alcohol license for Gridiron Family Grill and Sports Lounge for 1121 East 2nd Street.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor Hawkins.
Aye.
Okay, we got. You can't hear me. Well, then, can you come up to the front then? Because everyone else, it's the first time I've ever had anybody say that to me. So,
Can you hear us?
I can't hear you.
yeah, we'll come and sit up here then, please. Because I don't know what to do for you.
Do you have your speaker on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, turn the volume up.
Okay, no worries. Go. General agenda, public hearing to certify the fiscal year 2026-27 budget. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No, they were.
Are there any oral objections? I'll close the hearing. So, John, what have you got for us?
I'll go down to the podium. Speak. Zach, can you pull up I think it's the Webster City budget over here. Thank you. So 'tis that time again when we adopt our budget. Work's been done beginning last fall, meeting with the department directors and going over the budget line item by line item, and then meeting with the council for work sessions and having proposed hearings on maximum property tax levies and things like that. I want to especially thank a few people for production of this document. First, Sherry Simons and Ariel Bertrand did quite a bit of the document setup. And then, of course, our rock of finance, Dodie Wolfgram, who has overseen city's finances for several years, I will say, and just appreciate her efforts. And thank you, Mr. Oliver, for recognizing her earlier this year with that budget oversight. So I'm going to go to page 2. We're going to cover some information. I will try to keep this presentation short. Feel free to urge me along, Mayor Hawkins, if it gets too dry. We will not be going over each page specifically, but I'll move along. So on executive summary, we really start with some analysis of the assessed market value for the community. Webster City's assessed market value, approximately $305 million. Want to contrast that with the county as a whole, which is about $1.2 billion. So the a little north of $4 million that we're collecting is on a base that is smaller than that of other levying entities. But I would say it's strong as compared to our other comparable communities in Iowa. Our proposed tax levy is, $4.8 million, which is roughly a 1.28% decrease and amounts to approximately $61,000 less in levy than we had last year. I will speak to that and how we sort of arrived on that as I continue to move forward. Assessed value increased by about 3.8%. We're still waiting on numbers in terms of what portion of that 3.8 is new construction, what portion of that is existing home value increases. Part of the reason that I like to ask that question is, folks are sensitive to the effects of assessments on their property taxes. And so when we go to make a tax recommendation, we try to limit it to that value that we would be gaining from new construction. Our estimated tax rate is 16.51 per $1,000 of value. That's a 0.7 rate 0.7 rate reduction from 25-26. The reduction in that levy was made through both the airport levy and the employee benefit levy. The airport has strong fund balances. Want to thank Mr. Scott Bardfried for overseeing that group for some time. And so they have sufficient fund balance to sustain that reduction. And the city also has fewer employees, as we'll speak about, than last year, resulting in reductions that were gathered from the employee benefit levy because of their absence. We have 3 major tax classifications that are residential, commercial, and residential, commercial/industrial, and then agriculture parcels. Residential is about 80% of our tax base, commercial, industrial 14%, and then agriculture is 4.9%. And then I'll talk about some of those other points as I get on. If we can go to the next page, Zach, you don't have to rotate it. It might be a little difficult. I'm just going to talk briefly about this. So you can see for the council, we have a few levies that make up that total asking of 4.8. They include the general fund, the public transit, that's the Midas bus. We contribute $13,500 a year to that. We have the aviation authority, the property and liability authority. That is the property and liability insurance that we charge, or that we're charged for our insurance purposes. We also have special police and fire retirement levy, our FICA and IRS levy, and other employee levies, which include things like health insurance, workers' comp, and unemployment. Next, we have the debt service levy, and that sort of rounds it out. And so together, that's again $4.8 million. And then you can see in raw numbers per $1,000 valuation below that, how that tax rate stacks up and gets to 16.5. Speak about those comparables later on. Going to the next page, we have roughly 4,000 parcels across those tax classifications. And then if we can just go to the next page, I've sort of talked about some of those other filters. This is information about sort of the breakup of cash that we receive from those different districts, and then the makeup of the parcels. Unfortunately, through no fault of their own, the county's still putting together their budget, and the county auditor's office was busy doing that. So we'll be working on this document throughout the year, continue to work with them to get that information. But it's helpful, I think, to show, and really what the data will show is, I'm sure residentials and homesteads pay a bulk of the property tax as compared to their percentage of parcels. Commercial would probably make up more than their percentage of parcels given their different property tax asking. But we'll bring that sheet back either later this year or next year during the budget. If we go to the next page, top 10 overall and assessed value, that does not mean that they pay necessarily the most tax overall, but it is assessed value. Quick Trip, 2 stores about to 8 million. The Natural Shrimp Building at 8.7, where Edible Gardens will be locating. Van Tech, Southfield, Mary Ann's, KC Nielsen, First State, and Town and Country, both of those properties. Crestwood, Windsor Manor, and then the Federal Savings Bank, or WCF as it's known, are sort of our top 10 in assessed value. They make up 18% of our assessed value tax. The next page has sort of the largest residential holders of residential property. The top 10 are about 10 million or 3.6% of our assessed value base. So that base is much broader than with just the top 10. But the interesting chart is sort of at the bottom of that sheet. You can see that about 83% of the properties in Webster City, 83% of those are valued at $200,000 or less, leaving 17% at $200,000 or more. So that's sort of a stacking of the values of the residential properties that we've got and their values. We go to the next page, historic and city tax comparisons. You can see in the last 5 years, the assessed valuation has consistently grown. A 5-year average is probably about 8.5 million per year. 3-year average is 9.5. So we have had some good construction activity that has increased that average in the last 3. That's a good indicator of activity in the community. Below is sort of your assessed value for comparable cities. This is from 2024 data though, because that's the latest data that was on the state's budget website or Department of Management's website. We are right at that average with or at that time was 280 million. Okay, if we go to the next sheet, historic tax levy, you can see there's been a steady decrease over the last 3 years. That nets out all to about 0.27 in overall over the last 5 years. But you can see in the last 3 years, decrease of 1.5, 90 cents, and then this recommended budgets of 70 cents. And if you go to the chart at the bottom, a comparison of comparable communities. This is from a study that the community did a few years ago about different financial matters. Those were the comparables that were selected in terms of being a county seat, having electric utility, population, etc. Again, for 2024 levies, the average was 38.24. This is overall. So this includes city, county, school district, hospital, assessors, community college, etc. 38.24. Webster City was 41.79 in that study. But as you know, in the last 2 years, we have pulled back. So that's about an average of 3.5 overall. That's not just the city, that's over all taxing jurisdictions. Of that amount, we estimate about 1.5 was attributable to the city, and we're closing in on that. I think we have about 50 cents to go, and I think that'll be achievable in the next couple of years. But we're happy to deliver the property tax reduction for residents and businesses this year. Moving to these next sheets, pages 11 to 14 are just examples of properties. And so you can see on the impact of value increases, the levy rate amount decreases. We can see that some have experienced tax increases. Some of the commercial properties that have done work are experiencing a higher amount of property tax payments each year, but overall pretty steady, with the exception of those that have made improvements. Now I'm going to jump to some more specific information on tax supporting funds. I would note on page 20, there's a organizational chart for the city, for whoever might want to review that. And then on page 21, one more, just overview on the city staffing history. I want to point out, sometimes you don't get an opportunity to talk about. City employs a wide variety of specialists and professionals, everything from law enforcement officers to wastewater and water treatment specialists, linemen, skilled equipment operators in the streets, certified inspectors, financial and human resource professionals who keep our city moving. As you can see, those individuals are continuing to do a great deal of work and continuing to do it as efficiently as possible. If you look at a staffing history for, my goodness, it looks almost 10 years. We are below that first number at 63, off from a high of 76. To give you a little background of those moves, we have constrained resources. We are attempting to create an economically palatable place and an attractive place to locate business and homes. And we face restrictions in revenues from the state and uncertain revenues. So belt tightening is going to be part of our future for, I would say, the foreseeable future. But I do believe that we have been able to simultaneously do that and continue to increase the quality of the provision of the public services that we provide. I would also note that in this time frame, there's certainly been several technological improvements that have attributed to our efficiencies. The next page is a specific breakdown by department for specific FTEs in both the general fund and the electric utilities. If you've got questions on that, I can return to it, but I don't have any further comments on that. Moving to page 24, just going high level numbers. Again, $4.8 million in total tax levy. Total revenues for the general fund are $5.1 million. Employee benefit fund, $1.2 million, $1.7 million for the debt service fund, and then $90,000 for the airport fund. If we move then to the next page, this is a general fund forecast. And I will just simply say overall revenues are expected to increase by $52,000. This reflects an increase in property tax revenue, licenses and permit, and electric franchise fees. Our expenditures are expected to be $5.3 million, with an increase in $305,000 compared to the previous fiscal year. Those increases are associated with set asides for capital improvements. We're replacing the fire department's brush truck at $110,000 and the swimming pool's outdoor filter at $350,000. So you can see that even those between 110 and 350 are not total increases for the fund because of other cost containing measures that's been utilized. I also like to point out our future fund balance. Our fund balance sits at about 56%, which is at or above the recommended target, and will be managed in the out years as we continue to move forward. Okay, next page. This is a breakdown of the different sources of revenues and then the different departments. As you can see, taxes are proposed to increase by that $40,000. We talked about $60,000 a little earlier. There was some decreases in other smaller elements in that revenue category that netted that out at that amount. Licenses and permits, $32,000 based on building activity. decrease in 40,000 for miscellaneous based on costs we incurred with the merger and sort of transition of daycare. We will receive, but won't receive next year. If you're interested in sort of what those revenue categories are in terms of use of money and property, that is largely our lease with Black Hills Energy for our gas lines that are residually owned by the city and leased by Black Hills, as well as rentals of the senior center and then Fuller Hall. That's rentals of them. When we get down to intergovernmental, those are backfill tax credits from the state for commercial and other exemptions that they've made, and they're backfilling us. Charges for services are mainly fees for the swimming pool, Fuller Hall, and the cemetery. The $27,000 in contributions is from the hotel motel tax by ordinance. Those funds come into the general fund and then are dispersed for recreational purposes, I believe trails. Police and fire, going to the expenditures, police is declining by approximately $20,000 just from a decrease in the pace of spending. There, fire is up because of the truck, outdoor pool is up because of the filter, recreation is up because of some additional part-time staff we've brought on. Community development is up because of staffing costs. Parks is down because of the cost associated with the shelter that will be constructed this year, so that won't be coming out next year. Cemetery is down because we're paving it this year. Similar story there. Information technology services is up because of software and equipment replacements. Miscellaneous is again the associated reduction in the cost for the daycare, and that is that. Moving on to the employee benefit fund. This is the fund in its aggregated state. It includes the amounts that were spent on those benefits. FICA and IPERS is up in a routine manner just based on the wage increases. General pool of 3% is recommended as part of this budget. Medical insurance is up a small amount. I think the increase was under 2% or at 2%. And then police and fire retirement is up about $60,000, but that's because thankfully we are at full staffing now. The overall revenues will decline by $115,000 based on our cuts. We do have sufficient fund balance to carry this forward for the next 4 years, and we'll expect that fund balance to be drawn down during that time as well, until it levels out in about year 3. Moving on, page 29 through 40 is just a really rich, and I apologize for the departments that put just such a great amount of time and information in there. If you have an interest in what is going on in our departments, I would encourage you to take a look at pages 29 through 40 and see the highlights of the services they provide. I'm going to jump to the debt service overview, and I'm just going to go straight to page 42. Give me a second. Revenue of the debt service fund is estimated to decrease by $103,000. That's based on reduced estimates for bond rebates associated with issuing GO debt, because we're not recommending any GO debt be issued this year. The out-year forecast does include new bond payments for fiscal year 27-28 and 28-29, as well as the economic development grant that was part of the Wilson Estates Arcadian development. Year-end fund balance is estimated at 15% and will exceed the 5 to 10% policy target for the out years, based on support of sales tax for projects like Fairmeadow 1, Fairmeadow 2, that have already been completed. So again, maintaining the tax levy in this fund as well, and it is in a solid financial position. I'm going to jump to page 44. Those are the beginning of the utility funds, or 45, I should say. Again, these are high-level revenue numbers. 15 million for the electric fund, 3.2 for the water utility, 4 for the sewer, and 352,000 for the newly implemented Stormwater utility fund. We can move to page 47. We talked about the electric fund budget on several occasions. So I will be brief. I can answer any questions you might have. Revenues are estimated to increase by $697,000. It's a result of the 5% rate increase to accommodate the costs we will are receiving from the 10.5 increase in power costs through Corn Belt Power, through Basin. Don't want to always just be piling on Corn Belt here. Total expenditures are expected to increase by $883,000 as a result of those purchase power costs. So you can see why there's some difference here that we have to make up with the subsequent rate increases down the road. Capital outlay for 26-27 has a large decrease, but in 27-28 it will increase with the arrival of the digger derrick truck that has been ordered since 23. That's a long wait line. And installation of the Wilson Estates subdivision. Fund balance at the end of the year for the proposed budget is estimated to be $6.5 million, 40% of expenditures. As you know, we're managing that amount at 35 to 40 for our comfort level and because of what the policy adopted by the council requires. Please note that the electric fund does include revenue from Wilson Estates subdivision. Those estimates are included because we've included the capital expense for that project in this fund as well. Moving along to the water fund. There is some great information there on average water use. Again, this fund, I'm moving to page 50, Zach. Thank you. Total revenues are estimated to decrease by $2,500. That's the result associated with installation of a new demand water meter. That reduction was actually over $100,000, but it happened between the adopted and the amended budgets. But that would be a reduction in both revenue and expenditure for the water fund because they were also paying that as a water utility bill. Total expenditures are expected to increase by $50,000 as a result of set asides and capital for well maintenance and an increase in property and liability insurance. Fund balance is estimated to be about 37% of expenditures, and policy calls for 33. I think as the council is aware, we continue to complete projects associated with the water bond issued a few years ago. We have a great system in place moving along with that water plant that will serve the community for the next 10 to 15 years. Okay, moving to wastewater. A couple of good pieces of information on page 51 and 52. Wastewater fund is sort of interesting, right? Because we're talking about the plant. I'm going to go over some high level information on that. Revenues are estimated to increase by $83,000. That's largely the result of interest we're earning on set asides on that fund balance because it's growing. Remember, the surcharge was implemented several years ago. This is a result of the rate increase imposed in 24 as well as interest collections. So I'm sorry. Total expenditures are expected to decrease by $55,000. The decrease is a result of one, staff reduction at the wastewater plant, as well as reduced capital outlay and improvements. That does not mean we're not taking care of the one we have. It's just that Nick did not have as many parts break this year. And so we were fortunate. We do have a sizable set aside for him to keep that compliant with state regulations. The fund balance at the end of this, at the end of FY 26-27 is estimated to be approximately $10.9 million. That is a very high fund balance for this fund. It's a result of the surcharge and then just quite frankly, the decreased operating costs. Residents should be reasonably inquisitive about what we're planning to do with that money. As you look into the forecast, $5 million of that will be used to fund a portion of the plant in cash. And right now, if those revenue estimates hold, we may increase that recommendation to $6 million to avoid issuing as much debt. The plant is moving along well. The engineers and the construction manager is working to get those cost estimates. I believe we're at around a guaranteed maximum price of 28.5, excluding engineering fees. And hopefully we might be able to see some ground broken or a hole dug this fall. But we're in good shape. I think I glanced over a couple things with these funds that folks may want to know about. The forecast for the wastewater fund includes 0 rate increases for this year and the next 4 years. The rate forecast for water includes 1% increases in the next 2 years. In year 3, we're going to have to take a look at that fund, but I'm confident I think we'll be able to deliver a pretty good recommendation at that time that is reasonable and not out of bounds of what would be inflationary. And then the electric fund we've talked a lot about. It's 5% now, the 4% at the end of the year, and then the 2%. But I also caution, if Corn Belt comes back and does not implement those increases that we've factored into the budget, we may be able to pull back on those. But if they go up, right, then I imagine that the council and staff are going to have a larger discussion about how to handle that. Okay, wastewater fund. Recycling and solid waste are pretty simple funds, so I'm not going to spend much time on those. Very small cash balances, servicing our trash contractor, no rate increases proposed for now or the 5 years, and they continue to be very steady. The new stormwater fund will estimate, I'm on page 57, will bring in an estimated $350,000 of revenue. It is going to fund a portion of our street department who manages the stormwater utility. And so cleaning out those stormwater grates and making improvements and things like that. But it's also got big set asides for things like hydro cleaning, for slip lining some of those lines, cleaning and maintenance, and in-house repairs. So we're excited to begin deploying this fund in ways that Brandon has not really had a revenue source in the past. Moving on to special revenue fund, and I'm going to go to those are economic development, sales tax fund, road use fund, and hotel motel fund. Going to page 61. The economic development fund was established by the council 2 years ago. It was a amalgamation of excess reserves from the general fund and the electric fund in the amount of $2.5 million. That fund serves to it also includes lease revenue from our farms that we own. That has gone to match state grants, partner with local organizations like LIFT. It handles our annual contract with the Hamilton County Growth Alliance and the Ames Partnership. It has been used as matching funds for a railport study, and a portion of those funds were used for site certification. We estimate that fund balance will be $2.7 million at the end of next year. We will be bringing you some recommendations on this fund next month associated with downtown improvements that the council will need to consider. This also serves as sort of the landing pad of a lot of the Riverview TIF expenditures because of that indebtedness thing. So we draw it out of this and then the TIF repays it. So next is the local option sales tax. This is a real engine that's doing a lot of work on behalf of the residents here, and really proud about how Brandon's been able to deploy those funds to the benefit of the street system. We get about $1.1 million in this fund every year. We're going to be talking about expending $250,000 of it tonight to do a little more asphalt overlay than we thought we were going to be able to do this year. But it cash funded the work up at Brewer, what do you call that? Brewer Wilson, and then also the Beach Street portion that was not funded with a federal grant. And then it's servicing debt on Fairmeadow 1 and Fairmeadow 2. So the sales tax of this community is really being put back into the road system. And we also have a set aside for some parks improvements. If and when there's opportunities that come up or the council says, hey, we'd like to do some of these things, we've got set asides approximately $100,000 in this fund for those things. Going forward, the community can know that of that 1.1 million, we plan to spend $1 million of it each year on updating the roads. I can honestly tell you, we'd probably use 2 million to keep on track with where I'd like to be. And it holds a healthy reserve of 4 million. So that gives you flexibility on what you want to do with it, whether you want to take on another recon project, maybe cash fund a portion of it, or you want to just continue to do more HMA and paving work or concrete patching work. I've just remarked T&K contract is at work this week and has been for the last month with our 2026 road project. And I think that'll be a really good result for the folks on the concrete roads that have some panels that need to be replaced. The next fund on page 63 is a road use tax fund. This is revenue received from the state of Iowa based on a formula with population, and I believe it's gas tax money. So we've got $1.1 million coming in from the state with that. And then we've expended a portion of that on our street department. And then we've got some set asides for roads, bridges, snow, ice, and street cleaning. We also have some debt obligations in there with the portion of the shop that was built, the street sweeper, and the snow plow. This fund, interesting enough, is drawing down on its fund balance. We will need to bring it into balance here over the next 5 years. I think it's to the tune of about $50,000 right now, but that will grow. So we'll be doing some tinkering with this fund. In addition, there are some bridge improvements that need to happen, but we're going to be seeking out some CDBG funds and other federal funds for that as we move forward, and we'll be bringing some recommendations to you in that regard. Next is the last two are the hotel motel. We really haven't presented an overview of that. That's approximately $110,000 that's received by the community and then granted out by a board that's appointed by the council. And then our tax increment financing districts, we have several. You have information on what they can certify. Highlights for this would be, of course, the Brew Oil, the expanded Riverview TIF, and then most recently Edible Gardens. And there is some specific information on the ins and outs of those funds. Largely, those are reimbursements to developers for costs incurred. Some of those are set aside in the low to moderate income fund for housing, which the council has not yet deployed, but we will consider. Rounding out our discussion. Boy, that was longer than I thought. I apologize. The last few pages of this is our capital improvement fund. It is a combination of the general fund and the utilities. And you can see, so in the police department, we purchase a vehicle. We equip that vehicle and we buy some ammunition. That's the capital improvements for the police department. Fire department, they have some apparatus. They're typically replacing radios, turnout gear, portable, mobile radios in the truck. We also have a set aside for the parks, rec, and Fuller Hall. And you can see there might be a mower, might be the outdoor pool, shelter, things like that. Graceland Cemetery, we are nicking away at paving that whole thing. It's an off year for that, but you'll see paving there because the pavement company is coming back from last year. And I can answer any questions that you might have about the capital improvement fund. Mayor and council, this is your proposed 26-27 budget. Do you have any questions?
Nope, doesn't look like it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan.
You bet.
The call for resolution adopting following notice and hearing for the 26-27 operating budget and certification of city taxes for the fiscal year ending June 30th for 2027 for the city of Webster City, Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You with us, John?
Yeah, he's on here.
Aye.
Okay, good. Okay, and we have a resolution adopting the 26-27 capital improvement and capital equipment budget for the 26-27 through 2030-31 capital improvement and capital equipment plan for the city of Webster City, Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. And then B is a resolution transferring cash from various funds to other various funds. Evening, David.
Good evening. So there's just a handful of transfers on this resolution, but most of them are budgeted. It's the franchise fee for the 3 utilities to go to the general fund, the shared services for most of the departments in this building, for their fair share of like the HR, finance, utility collections, IT. And then the debt service, it's the contribution for the road use to contribute their portion for their street building, street sweeper and snowplow, all of which were funded through bonding. And then the proceeds from the 2024 GO bond went for the HVAC and the Fairmeadow 1. Both of those have been completed. There were excess funds. Those are now being transferred to the Fairmeadow 2. Probably we'll need to transfer again later on after that project is complete. But they will go to another street project.
Thanks, Dodie. Call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, item C is the first reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by deleting sections 46-211 and 46-212 for chapter 46 pertaining to parking within corporate limits of the City of Webster City, Iowa. Evening, Brandon.
Mayor and council. So this was brought to us by Zach Williams, who works at the street department, is kind of our sign guy. He talked about this for a while, and so at our meeting, we brought to the attention about, as you see in the downtown business district area, kind of the off streets, First Street division, and stuff like that. Even our parking lots, you'll see signs that say no parking 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. No parking 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then we'll say under that 2-hour parking 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So you'll also see another sign that says the same thing, but it will say 4-hour parking. Then you'll see, you say it's First Street, I think it's 700 block, and the diagonal parking, you'll say 8-hour parking. And so Zach kind of brought it to our attention is that what does everybody think about going to just a one sign that fits everything? That's just no parking 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. We reached out to the PD. I don't think there are any tickets for people we're looking at people that are parking more than 2 hours or 4 hours. And so we just figured we'd bring that to your attention and see if you thought that was to be well deserved or moving forward with that, or if that's something we want to stick with what is there currently. So.
Okay. Call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Then we have D is a resolution authorizing and approving additional work for the fiscal year 2026 HMA improvement project.
Yeah, so John kind of spoke about this a little bit before, but since bid came in lower than expected for our TK project for the panel replacement, we have approximately $250,000 available that we would like to make to street improvements. These locations include Wilson Avenue from Ohio Street to Cedar, Cedar Street from Wilson to Superior, Boone Street from Wilson Avenue to Superior Street, Elm Street from Superior to Riverside, that's just south of the outdoor pool. And then on James Street, we have about a 50-foot patch that has a pretty good dip in it that we'd like to fix there. So anytime we can have a little bit of money, we would definitely like to keep improving our roads, and we like to trudge forward with that.
Okay,
Move to
Brandon,
approve.
how did you come up with the list?
So on our can't think of what it's called, but our street data shows us what streets, are failing or they're color coordinated. I haven't drawn a blank here, but anyway, gives us what streets need repaired first in order. We also go off of, sometimes not everything's off a complaint, but what areas of roads do we see that we're seeing the most complaints, that we're doing more cold patching, more Dura patching, that are more the Band-Aid style fixes just to get you by. And so we'd like to do the mill and fill to take care of these the right way.
Thank you.
okay. Call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. E is a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign and execute partial payment application number 4 and change order number 2 for the final recommended project acceptance for the 2024-25 water main repairs and sanitary sewer rehabilitation project.
Yes, this is long overdue. This was our water and sewer project that we try to do every 1 to 2 years. We had 7 water main valve replacements, 3 fire hydrant replacements, and 3 sanitary sewer spot repairs. Change order 1 was the gate valve. It was right outside of City Hall. Ended up being deeper. They wanted more money to do that. The valve was actually new enough. We just fixed top nut on it. So there's a reduction of the 7,000. Change order number 2. There was discrepancy in the depth of the manhole, so we saved some money there. We actually removed the fire hydrant. There was some kind of conflict of interest on the location of the hydrant, costing us more money, so we would want to take a step back on that. And also, we saved on a bunch of granular resurfacing and quantities there. That totals of $84,420.94.
Always like a decrease.
Not like that.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Item F is a motion option for disposal of property received from the court known as 128 Apple Avenue.
Thank you.
You can come up now, Becky, if you like, but we'll call on you here in a minute. So.
Oh, she could. Did you want me to go?
Yeah, we can go
Okay.
first.
All right.
Becky's got.
Mayor and council, the city acquired property at 128 Apple in April of 2025 through the District Court of Hamilton County. Since that time, that was a property that was demolished. And the adjacent property owners who are present have expressed interest in acquiring the property on at least 3 occasions. I think they were also present at a council meeting last year. During our last meeting, staff informed the property owners the topic be presented to the governing body for consideration, and that is the purpose of this topic being on the agenda. So staff recommends the council consider 3 options for disposal. First is competitive bidding, or RFP, that we sort of announced that we're accepting bids for this property. Set a date, open them. You're familiar with that process, and then bring a recommendation on disposal. The other option you have is, of course, direct marketing, posting for sale signs, taking calls at City Hall, perhaps listing it with a realtor, or other types of marketing that's common for disposing of property. Another auction style or sealed bid, we can do that. I don't know what Zach's recommendation would be on that. And then the council may choose to wait until a development proposal is received for the property and consider the merit of that. So essentially saying, we're waiting for a development proposal for that property and waiting until you receive one you'd like. Fifth, the council may also choose to not sell the property. As I think the community is aware, over the past couple of years, we've taken considerable efforts with associated costs to remove derelict, nuisance, and abandoned properties. This was one of them. Equally, as part of that consideration is ultimately deciding the disposal of some of this property that's been acquired, which we anticipate. Clearly, I think in a neighborhood, the highest and best use for the lot in question would be construction of a home or maybe a duplex. However, you don't know how long that might take, or if somebody would ever build on the lot, as you have experience with other lots that you've encountered in this manner. Next, you might consider some adjacent development that a property owner might be willing to make on the lot to generate some additional revenue from some type of construction. Third, likely would be an adjacent property owner purchasing it, expanding their lot, and taking care of it. With any of those considerations, the council is free to put conditions on the sale of the property, similar to like what we've done with development agreements. You can also set minimum bids if you're interested in that as well. Previously, the city probably expended 10 to 15,000 on the demolition of the property. According to the assessor, it was last valued the lot at least at 7,000. And staff did contact
7,000.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
And staff did confirm with realtors that they thought that that was a fair price for the lot, or at least fair assessment, I should say. So our recommendations are for you to consider first if you would like to sell the lot, and then if you determine you want to move forward, the manner of the sale that you'd like to direct us to proceed with. Can answer any questions.
Becky, did you want to?
Yeah,
Say
about
something.
that property, you know, you say you want it developed and everything else, but it's been so flooded over there. Nobody is gonna come in there and build a home when it's like, Ariel said, what'd she call it? She called it a, mud bog. And, cause all the mowers got stuck and everything else. We wanna build a garage. We need a garage. And then we'll go from there. You know, who knows? We may build something more later. But right now, we need a garage, and I'm willing to give you $20,000 today. It'll be in the morning because I don't have it on. In my back pocket.
Well, it's way more than reasonable, but
Certainly.
yeah.
I am too.
You sure you want to give that much?
Yes.
I just value it.
No, they said they had to make their money back on tearing it down. That's what they told me since the beginning. So I figured if it cost 15, it cost you $14,000. I know exactly how much it cost. So, I was gonna start out at 12, but if you want to, I'll go 20.
It's fine. Are you gonna intend on building something on it?
Yeah, we're gonna build a garage.
Does that then take that she would have to do something with the lot to make it part of her house? Because
Just
we're not allowed
combines
to
it.
build garages.
Yeah, we would combine it with the adjoining property. You just have to have one single lot to have you can't have a garage without a primary, your primary being your house. It's connected, and once it becomes, it's
Okay,
considered.
but this is for both lots, correct?
Yeah, they just get combined into one single.
All right, there's two lots on 128 Apple.
Then all.
Okay.
All that.
Yeah, so it would be our house and the lot right next door is where we'd have to build a garage, correct? Yep, that's no problem, because I don't want to walk a lot of way, a whole lot of way to get to my garage.
I just wanted to know what the plan might, how long, if there's a timetable for the plan.
Well, to start with, we're gonna have to get in there. There's 3 trees that gotta come down. And then you gotta get in there and start leveling it off and everything else. It's gonna take a few months.
How much
Get the
time?
ground ready.
How much time did you want it? Would you get it done in a year, or what did you need?
Oh, maybe 2. That'd give me a little bit of extra time just in case we run into something that we're not expecting.
Zach, with the driveway ordinance and the new garage, how will that work?
As far as, what do you mean is the new garage? Like the driveway would have to be, there's not an existing driveway now, it has to be a paved driveway, of course.
Well,
Do they-
it would go from my driveway into the garage.
Yeah, but it's,
So,
So you don't need another driveway
No.
into,
You'd have some sort of a,
Yeah, we got a driveway that goes into our yard, and where we're gonna put the garage, we would just go from our driveway into the garage.
yeah, so that portion would have to meet, yes, okay. You'd have to comply with the driveway ordinance, which we can share with you, of course, anytime.
Okay.
And then what was the second one about the new garage? Just height requirements and stuff? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. Can't be taller than your existing property. Yeah.
Yeah, bigger than my.
Meets all the
existing
step
property.
backs, does all that stuff.
May I offer just some consolidating statements? So in this regard, you've received a proposal and a price. I think at our next meeting, we would come forward with a public notice, a public hearing to announce our intent to dispose. We've received a price. You will then, so the next meeting setting the hearing, meeting after that would be acting on it. And at that time, if I believe I'm correct, Mr. Chizik, if somebody wanted to come and say, we'll give you 30,000, we'll give you 40,000, you would be needing to react to that. We're comfortable going through that process. Zach and I can meet with the Mrs. Holgrafer to dictate the terms of the development and the sale and bring that back to you next meeting.
What would be the issue of just doing an RFP under a timeline? And obviously she would have the opportunity to bid on it. Then you would have I don't think you'd have anybody then coming into the situation after the fact. I think, wouldn't that be a quicker solution, Zach?
It depends on how, I'm just going to jump in. Yeah. It depends on how long you're going to wait for the RFP proposals to be submitted back. So typically when you do an RFP, we're going to draft it. You would approve that. We would wait 6 to 8 weeks for proposals, and then we would proceed. So in terms of the timeline, it's probably longer, not incredibly longer, but a little longer. But either route work on my end, but you asked Zach, so I'll defer to him.
No, that's exactly right. Timing is, if you're asking for shorter, the RFP obviously would take longer than this. This would be that they essentially make an offer to the city now. We would want it in writing, of course. We'd set the public hearing at the next meeting, put the notice in the paper, and then the second meeting in May, we would hold a public hearing on it. And then, of course, that when the city dictates the terms, how long you have to start construction, finish construction. Recently, we've done it where with other developers or other property owners that if you don't develop it within that period of time, you have to deed the property back and you essentially forfeit what you've given to the city.
Okay.
So we can put all that together though. Is that answer your question, John?
Yeah, it does. I'm just, I think with transparency, if somebody, it doesn't sound like anybody's going to come in that have a bidding war here. And I love the fact that you'd like this and to build on it and you understand everything involved. I'm just looking at what the fairest thing to do. And, either way, I'm good with.
so we just need a motion tonight to
Direct me to prepare the necessary documents and
Yep.
bring it back for disposal. That would be sufficient.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
So it'll take 2 meetings before,
Okay,
you'll
so
have,
when do I need to bring?
before you'll have to pay or anything like that.
Yeah,
But
but do I have to bring in a?
if you can bring in a written quote, bid, well, leave an offer. If you can give an offer, even you can leave it tonight if you want, but
Oh,
if you got something to do tomorrow, but you've got time because we've got to set the
Okay.
public hearing and all that. So, but if you don't want to do it until a couple of days, that's fine.
yeah, I'll do it back when I
That
get
won't
back
hold
on
us up.
Tuesday.
So yeah,
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
thanks, Peg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We've got G is a consideration of a development proposal with Origin Homes.
All right, thank you.
Yes, this seems to be the night of open-ended requests for the council to consider. So I'm going to flip to the second sheet of this agenda statement and just walk through that so the council can react. The city has been approached by and been in discussion for I think several years with a company called Origin. They're associated with Hubble Realty. They construct single family homes. They have inquired whether the city would be open to reducing the prices of lots in Brewer Creek subdivision. They are inquiring about 3 to 5 lots, and whether or not the city would write those down to a price of 10,000. In exchange, they would commit to constructing those homes, I believe, within 24 months. The other conditions included payment for lots to Webster City upon the sale of the home. That is standard in Brewer Creek. Number 3, if it's not sold within 8 months, the city would carry the interest. I would recommend not proceeding with that matter. As well, in number 4, they're inquiring about due the proximity of their headquarters, whether or not we would mow and remove snow. Again, I would recommend we not proceed with that, given the affordable rates that are charged for that in the community and the responsible firms that provide that service. Webster City will waive permit fees if they commit to 5. There's a batch rate of 2,500. Would recommend continuing that requirement simply because we get asked to waive fees quite a lot. I think I'm flexible on that, and we do have a batch rate that Ridge received, I believe, when he came in earlier. Waive connection fees, open to that, but I think it could be wrapped into the batch rate as well. The remediation of bad soils is really not a concern. The company's inquired about this. City constructed that lot, and we have not had any issues with the soils with anybody who has constructed on that. So what I'm saying is agreeing to that provision is a small risk, and any of the issues that might arise would be able to be funded with the proceeds of the sale of the lots. The Hamilton County Growth Partnership in Webster City would engage in employers in support of marketing the completed homes. We're happy to do that. And then the cost of due diligence would be negotiated in faith for phase 1 environmental geotech. My understanding is those geotechs were completed, time those lots were completed, as well as the phase 1. So I don't really believe that will be a risk. I think those are already completed. There may be some concern that the phase 1 is expired simply because of the time was constructed. We've gotten quotes for phase 1s that range anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. So it's not a major expense. Geotechnical work, I believe we can produce records on that, but I want to confirm. In addition, the developer has made their construction contingent on receiving workforce housing tax credits with the IEDA. We will have, as in the next agenda item, a request to support Kading's development. We want to support that. If for some reason the council's concerned about supporting this, while we have the Kading project sitting out there waiting for those, we're happy to negotiate cash value for that. But that is about $25,000 per door in benefit with the workforce housing tax credits. So we're open on that. We can get them a copy of the covenants. I think the biggest issue is the write down on the lots, and then some of those other provisions. I would be happy if the council has consensus around sort of the description of the terms that I described, returning to the company and negotiating with them on these terms. But the biggest question is the write down. We will be bringing you a proposal for writing down the prices of those lots as early as next meeting or the meeting after that. And so that is in line with what we believe some of the write downs will be. It just depends on what lots they're interested in purchasing. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Do we normally
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
take on the interest if the house is not?
We do not.
No.
The rate down is from 40,000 to 10,000. Is that correct?
Correct. They are inquiring about the lots on the north side of Fairmeadow. I would be open to that write down if the home met the covenants and was of a size and style that fit there. There are other lots that if they had a less large or lesser product that would also be suitable in that development. You know, in the in terms of sort of our housing efforts, we are short on single family starts. And so this is a good recommendation to get some housing started here. But I'd want to work with them on whatever product they have picked out in their menu to bring, depending on the lots they're looking at. And some of those other lots that they'd be looking at, John, are not currently marketed at the 39,000.
Right.
They're less.
I think we need to maybe fine tune this and go back to them a little bit.
I'm happy to do that.
I would agree. It's, I don't know about you're talking about the tax credits.
Right.
That concerns me a little bit. You know, we're about to do, the next item obviously is talking about coding homes, and I don't want to stop. I don't want to put this one up as well as that if we've got a chance of coding not getting theirs again. Geez, and that's a little concern. But anyway, we've got time, I guess, to look into them both. We'll look into this one. So you don't need.
Yeah.
I do not need any action. I will return to the developer and bring this back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the proper thing to do.
Yeah, we've got. Then we got item H is a resolution supporting the submission of an Iowa Economic Development Authority IED8 application to Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program by Wilson Estates LLC.
Here we are again, next year, or at least a year after. Happy to report that Kading and the Wilson Estates subdivision is alive and well, looking to come to Webster City. In fact, at our most recent interaction with them, when they gave a presentation at a chamber breakfast, indicated that they would be starting later this summer. Critical to that program is the award of the workforce housing tax credits. Remind everybody that they are proposing up to 218 units. I think this tranche is 106 in the resolution. But they purchased a 28-acre property. And so they're committed. And I think that this would go a long way in supporting their commitment, in addition to the grant that we provided them for improvements to Wall and Links Avenue that would connect that piece, and infrastructure associated with their project through the tax increment financing. So I do recommend approval. Can stand for any questions that you might have.
Now, this is key to what we're trying to do in town, especially with some of the economic development good news that we've had recently. I think that we need to continue to work toward progressing with Kading and getting this done.
Yep, it's a game changer. So we definitely need to get it across the line. So we can get this, the sooner it gets started, the better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
To approve.
Motion to approve.
All right. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All right. And we have a motion to request approval to solicit bids for mowing and snow removal services and authorize an award. So you doing?
It is this time of, every 3 years that the city goes out for a contract for mowing and maintenance of our vacant lots, including snow removal and other services. We have structured the bids so that interested parties can submit sort of a flat rate for the vacant lots, and then an hourly rate for the nuisance lots. We do have a hard time procuring interested parties to go in when the grass is 2 foot tall, for risk of equipment damage and things like that. There's also discussion about snow removal in that as well, for lots that have sidewalks on them. So with that, I would recommend, I can go through the specifics of this contract or the bid that's going out. If you have any questions. But other than that, this is pretty routine, just comes back to you all every 3 years.
And this starts, I was looking through it and I know that it's due April 28th, but when does the contract start? I did not, and I may have overlooked it, but I just did not see, 3 years through November 29, is that correct?
Correct. And it would begin upon adoption by the council.
Got it. So the current contract is running out. When?
I don't have the former contract with me, and so I can't answer that question directly.
Okay.
I can get back to you on that, Counselor Marvel, but I presume that those lots are being taken care of. I will have staff do a drive-by. I suspect the first mowings should have already taken place.
Got it.
And if not, and the contractor's not interested, we'll dispatch the Parks Department to take care of them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Call for motion to adjourn.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Thanks for calling in, John.
Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Aye.